Welcome back. We turn now to Pennsylvania, which is not just key for Democrats' hopes for the presidency, but also the Senate. As Democratic Senator Bob Casey faces a challenge from Trump-backed challenger Dave McCormick. Tonight, Casey and McCormick meeting on stage for their first debate, as a new poll of the battleground shows Casey ahead, but still within the margin of error. Our own Julie Tsirkin caught up with both candidates ahead of tonight's meetup, and she joins me now from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Julie, this is fantastic that you were able to speak with both candidates. Bob Casey obviously has held this seat for nearly 18 years, but incumbency can cut both ways. Talk about his strategy to win. What did he tell you?
It certainly can, Kristen, and he is aligning himself with the top of the ticket with Kamala Harris here, and in some ways it is a boost to Harris because the Casey name is so popular in the state of Pennsylvania, in the Commonwealth, I should say. Let's go back to 2006 when Casey defeated Rick Santorum. That was the largest margin of victory for any Democratic Senate candidate in Pennsylvania's history. And so when I asked Casey if he is worried about campaigning with Harris, about tying himself so closely to her in this state, here's what he had to say in response. Watch this.
I think when it comes down to the decision a voter has to make, they're going to make a different decision based upon the office. They're going to make a decision in the presidential race where they'll weigh a series of considerations. They're also going to make a decision in my race that will be specific to the choice about who their next senator is going to be. And when they come down to that choice, whether it's on basic rights like women's rights, voting rights, and workers' rights, there's no common ground between me and David McCormick.
Kristen, you and I both know well that ticket splitting has gone down in recent years, in recent elections. Casey, though, expressing that that could happen in this state and that could help him. And remember how important this seat is. Of course, Democrats, to even keep 50-50 control of the Senate, they have to hold on to Pennsylvania. So it is super critical as a battleground state.
It absolutely is. And at risk of dating myself, I was at Rick Santorum's headquarters when he lost to Bob Casey. And you're absolutely right. It was a politically major event in Pennsylvania at the time. Let's talk about Dave McCormick. He, of course, lost the Republican primary back in 2022 to Dr. Oz, who ultimately lost his race. How closely is he hewing to Donald Trump, who also lost his last Senate race in the state?
Well, McCormick could benefit from Trump's name ID in this state, but it could also hurt him. Trump's rhetoric, the former president's comments that he's making, especially, it's something that I really drilled down with McCormick about. He attended his rally in Erie, Pennsylvania just last Sunday when the former president called Kamala Harris mentally impaired. I asked him about that, and I also asked him how he's differentiating himself with Trump on policy. Listen.
Was in favor of lifting the ban, the cap on salt, which in essence gives tax breaks to millionaire homeowners in California and New York at the expense of Pennsylvania taxpayers. I wouldn't be for that, as an example. So he said some things on Ukraine. And my view on Ukraine is we should support Ukraine with military aid. I've run 2 campaigns, and I'm 0-1. This is my second. I'm 0 for 1. So I got to run a campaign that I feel is best represents who I am and the kind of senator that I'll be, and I can only manage myself.
McCormick clearly distinguishing himself on key policy ideas, which is something Casey didn't really do when I pressed him on it. But McCormick also being careful, saying he's not giving advice to the former president. He's going to join him in Butler for his comeback since that failed assassination attempt in July. So certainly trying to keep his distance on some issues, but at the same time, very much running with Trump here.
Fascinating to hear him highlight the issue of Ukraine. That's going to be a big one, I think, in these down-ballot races. Julie Tsirkin, thanks so much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.